What's going on, y'all? And today's video, we're gonna have episode 2. We're gonna start out with the 0-3 and 0-3 Tennessee Titans versus Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not gonna lie, starting this game out, I really didn't think we were gonna do too much, but Stephen kind of gets his defense going a little bit. We get hit on a big game for 3rd and 7, so it's not really looking too promising for us. And it looks like I thought we weren't gonna be able to stop this run game, but 3rd and 9, we get a sack from Nick Herbig and we force the field goal. So now we're on offense now, and Anthony Richardson has had a track record of not being that accurate thus far, but Thornton gets the job done, and so does our rookie, getting back-to-back catches. And Anthony Richardson takes off, getting us pretty much close to the goal line here, and we score with Rivers, our sleeper pick, if I might say. And 2nd and 11 now for Tennessee. We're going to get a nice gain, getting down to the 50. And a huge run stuff by both of our backers. Very beautiful vice tackle here. But then their running back takes off and just, goes to town on our defense. Not something you want to see. And then Cam Ward takes it himself. Joey Porter couldn't get the edge. And sadly, they scored on us. Anthony Richardson had some struggles in the first throw. But then we end up running a screenplay and a speed out, getting that first down. And then Thornton, we go back to him, he drops the ball. We go right back to him, he drops the ball again. So, I try one of those things where it's like, even if you're cold, I'm gonna hit you again so that you don't get cold later. But, that dude's freaking Jack Frost, because he just kept dropping that ball. They end up getting that 3rd down, but we end up getting a stop right after. And obviously you can see the defense is kind of talking to each other after that big stop. And a huge throw to Rivers. I don't know why he's that wide open, but we get him down to the 35, and then a wide open Thornton gets down to within the 5, and Richardson gets right back to our rookie Taj, and Taj gets his 2nd touchdown of the day. And now 3rd and 8 here. That was a huge reception out of, I don't even know who that was, but then Peyton Wilson forces a fumble on Cam Ward trying to scramble, so we get the ball back. And that was actually a huge stop, honestly, because our defense hasn't really had that many stops up to this point. But I truly believe that we're building on this defensive performance. Now, offense is still a little shaky, and we end up getting stopped there on 4th down. Stephen being a game wrecker, as he always is. Jack Sawyer giving that pressure, and Cam Ward ends up throwing that away. But then Cam Ward unloads, nearly a huge gain there, but Peyton Wilson does his job, and we end up getting the ball back. Huge reception on 3rd and 15 for Thornton. And Richardson on the run sees a wide open Darnell, and he gets down there. And now we have 4th and 5. We couldn't get it done, but it was a PI, so we end up getting saved by the refs, and we end up running the ball with Caleb Johnson, getting the score 21-10 here. Stephen sniffs out this screenplay but misses the tackle, and Sauce Gardner does his job on 3rd and long, so we end up getting the ball back. And Anthony Richardson just keeps finding Taj. I mean, Taj has been such a great asset this game, and whoever it is, he couldn't guard Taj at all. We end up getting the dub over the Titans 31-17. And to start this game out, Braden Walters gets freaking leveled. I don't know what that was, but he got leveled, and he still caught the ball, so that's what we need to see out of a receiver. Huge pancake block out of 65 on the screenplay, lets Nick Harbor go in pretty much untouched. And the Packers O-line has been insane. I mean, if we just see these type of blocks we're getting, Nick Harbor just untouched down to the 40-yard line, and it's beautiful to see when your blocks line up. Tucker Kraft kind of gets head topped by I don't know if that was Tariq or if that was Devon Witherspoon. I wasn't sure. But then another interception for Jordan Love makes this 14-14 now. So with the big lead kind of getting blown, LaJarvis gets the reception on a crucial 1st down reception here. And we have a minute left in the game, so 2nd and 18, and he's going to throw it up to Walters, another interception, and that might seal the game. Oh, it was Devon Witherspoon. So 2 interceptions for Witherspoon here, but they couldn't get it done. The defense does their job, so we're looking at overtime here, and in their own red zone, they couldn't get anything going, so they end up punting the ball. And a great tackle on that punt ends up getting stopped. And then, oh my goodness, Matthew Golden goes all the way to the end zone, and he ends up winning the game. And as you saw there, Jordan Love got traded for Tristan Wirfs and Trey Lance. So now we're going to look at Trey Lance as a potential starter for the Packers. And now, obviously, that trade, it was a big trade. You know, we weren't really expecting Jordan Love to get out of there, but I don't think the Packers were too impressed with Jordan Love's performance thus far, and they needed some help on the O-line. So I do think it was a pretty good move, and hopefully it pans out. But now we have New England Patriots going against the Vikings, and Drake May's doing his job, but he kind of misses a couple throws, ends up settling for a field goal. Now it's 23-17, and J.J. McCarthy makes a nice little play drawn up there, getting past the midfield, and T.J. Hawkinson pretty much unhooks the trailer and getting down to the 18-yard line, and back-to-back runs, getting stuffed by the defense, and looks like pretty much intercepted, but they end up batting the ball down until they went on fourth and got stopped. But then so did the Patriots get stopped, and then on fourth again for J.J. McCarthy, he gets his own QB sneak, and he steps up in the pocket and throws to a wide open Jordan Addison. So that pretty much makes this game all but tied up here. Morales fumbles the game away essentially, and that is going to be their fate sealed, losing to the Vikings here. And now we ended up re-signing Joey Porter, and I believe Nick Herbig, and also Darnell. Yep, so that's 3 big signings. Anthony Richardson is close to re-signing, so we're definitely going to try to re-sign him in the near future. But now for this game against the Jags, and the Jags have obviously CeeDee Lamb, and we end up sacking them for a fumble, so that's pretty big. Honestly, another huge stop on a great offense. I mean, the Jags are no slouches on offense, and that's pretty big to get a stop there. But a couple missed throws, and we end up having to settle for a field goal. But at least we scored off of the points, at least we scored off of the the turnover that our defense created. We end up getting a stop again, so now it's 3-0, and Jaylen Warren getting things done. Also Darnell getting us within the 30. But then again, our drive stalled, and we get sacked deep, and who is it? Travis Hunter kind of takes off on us, and all of a sudden it's 7-3 after 2 big stops, and we still are not in the lead of this game. But 2 big throws from Anthony Richardson getting us down to the midfield, but a questionable pass going straight to Devin Lloyd, and he picks us off, getting down to the 30-yard line, and a huge throw on 1st and 10, and another big throw, pretty much 2 first downs in a row, and Travis Hunter's getting leveled by Nick Emawari, and Nick Emawari couldn't save us all because Trevor Lawrence ends up scrambling for that touchdown. So now it's 14-3, and Anthony Richardson needs to get some things cooking in the kitchen now. So Taj gets us within the red zone, but another pressure, and we end up getting sacked again. So now it's 14-3, and Taj takes the defense by storm for another touchdown. Taj has been such an underrated piece to this offense, and he's finally getting the usage that he deserves. And Norton goes up top, and all of a sudden we're up for the first time in the game, 24-21. They end up tying it, so we're in overtime now, and we're gonna see if we can pull this comeback out of thin air. And it looks like it's pretty good for us. Defense getting 2 big stops, but then he steps up and throws a laser to CeeDee Lamb, ends up being 31-24. So huge offensive drive for the Steelers here. And 4th and 10, looks like we could have Darnell, but it's intercepted, and that's gonna be our loss against the Jags. So we end up, losing, and that's a pretty big defeat. I mean, we played really good on defense, and we end up just not getting it done on offense. But to start this game out against the Panthers, the Packers get a nice touchdown with Nick Harbor and allow a field goal. So now in the second quarter, 4th and 2, Jaden Reed makes a nice catch, getting down to the 30-yard line, and we're looking like on the goal line for Trey Lance, and he ends up throwing a nice ball to Braden Walters. We'd love to get that ball a little bit lower, but nonetheless, a touchdown is a touchdown. A huge run out of Nick Harbor, getting us down to the 30 again. And, the defense has played really good. Another stop for the defense. Now, obviously Packers are on the offensive side of the ball again. And it's pretty impressive how we've seen this defense really develop. as Braden Walters breaks a lot of tackles but ends up going backwards. And it looks like we have Tristan Wirfs, an injury, the main guy that we just got from the trade as well. But they end up winning that game pretty in easy fashion. It wasn't too impressive football from the opposing side, and obviously the Panthers have not been within the successful side as of late, and a huge win for the Packers. So it's really impressive to see the trades working out in their favor, and a huge touchdown to Kyle Pitts starting this game out against the Rams, and Jaden Daniels goes right back to him, hitting him to the 50-yard line, and another huge run from Drango as he just absolutely just beats a menace to society, just cutting left and right and going to the end zone, making this 14-10. Now we have Jaden Daniels on 4th and 7 here. Absolutely dime of a throw for Jaden Daniels, but then he ends up getting sacked. Now it's 3rd and very long, but he sees a wide open Kyle Pitts, couldn't get the ball to him, so they end up getting stopped there. 14-13 after the field goal that the defense let up, and a huge run out of Drango. I mean, he was essentially untouched the whole play. And then Jaden Daniels throws an absolute laser to Brian Thomas, taking the top off, cooking number 14 on the Rams, and he ends up putting the score up 28-20 after the defense allowed a touchdown of their own. And Drango, just being the menace he is, back-to-back receptions, getting back-to-back first downs. He's always, such a reliable person to get the ball into him in the flat. And another reception to him, so 3 receptions for him, essentially around 30 to 40 yards just in that drive alone, and a huge throw, making this game 35-20. And that's all it wrote for the Los Angeles Rams, where they end up losing to the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys have been very, very impressive here, and I'm really excited to see what we could, what they could do deep into the postseason. But before I can even finish the ending of that, that game, we're gonna see Lamar Jackson just take off on us, seemingly on a QB draw, and he ends up, making this 7-0. Anthony Richardson tries to throw 2 tight window throws, couldn't get it done, and Lamar Jackson is just looking like the prototype essentially, because he's just cooking us alive, and so is Zay Flowers, and we end up throwing an interception, getting us pretty much within 10 points, because our defense actually does a really good job of holding them in the red zone. I mean, that's insane. We turned the ball over at the 20, and they only allowed a field goal, so that was very impressive by our defense. But then Anthony Richardson goes up and fumbles anyway, so now it's 17-10. Not too impressive by our offense this far. And Jaylen Warren gets the ball on a screen play, getting us down to the 30-yard line. Anthony Richardson gets a wide open Thornton, and another throw, tight window to Taj Rivers, who's been such a reliable person. Not reliable, but let me say unexpected piece to the puzzle here. And it looks like we can't really get anything going here, as another 4th down stop turns this game 42-7. So it's really looking like a blowout. Honestly, wasn't too impressive for the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers. I mean, there's 40 points on the board, but most of those points were because we turned the ball over within our own red zone. So that interception pretty much seals the game there, and we end up losing to the Baltimore Ravens. And now we're going to have Dallas Cowboys going against the Washington Commanders, and Washington Commanders immediately intercept Jaden Daniels and goes all the way down to the 10-yard line, and they end up getting just a field goal, so a great stop by the defense. But then another interception goes to Jaden Daniels and that linebacker from the Commanders, and the defense does another great job within the red zone, only allowing a field goal. So very impressive by the defensive side of the ball. Offense still hasn't got it going, and the 3rd time an interception in the red zone, and a 3rd time the defense has only allowed a field goal. So the defense is playing outstanding, doing what they're supposed to do. But Jaden Daniels with 4 interceptions, not something that's very characteristic of him. And I haven't really seen that much of him, as Drango also has an ankle bruise, so maybe that could be it. Your main outlet is injured. But a huge catch from Xavier Worthy though, and that pretty much gets some life to this offense, because back-to-back receptions and a huge big run from Drango, even though he's injured, makes this game 7-16. And Drango doing what Drango does best, and he gets his second big play of the day, second touchdown, and he ends up making this 14-16, closing this gap. And Drango, another nice catch after a dime of a throw from Jaden Daniels. Trying to get some life into this offense here, but couldn't get it going. And they end up losing that game, which is very unfortunate for them. And now we have the Colts against the Steelers now. And Jonathan Taylor's been such a freak of nature, and he's over here breaking tackles immediately. Nick Emawari, though, not having any of that against Michael Pittman. And Stephen gets stiff-armed by JT. And all season long, we've had problems against, mobile quarterbacks. And the person that we literally traded away, Lenora Sellers, gets his own touchdown on us, making it 7-0. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him for having this game circled on his calendar. I mean, we did ship him off to the Colts, but, it was necessary. I really thought we could do something else with this quarterback. And, we ended up getting Sauce Gardner as well. So it's not something that was very personal, but we end up fumbling. So now it's 7-0. JT doing what he does, breaking tackles. And we end up getting the stop finally, and they kick a field goal, which they miss. So now it's still 7-0. Offense could try to do something here, and Darnell makes a nice catch, and so does John Mechie on a wide open dig route. And we try to run the ball with Caleb, but ultimately we hit Cole Norton on a speed out. Stephen gives Lenore some problems. He steps up in the pocket and delivers a huge throw to Michael Pittman. And our defense looking like they could try to lock in here, but a wide open Michael Pittman gives us problems. And now it's 28 to not 28, it's 2nd and 8 for Anthony Richardson. He just takes off going all the way down to the red zone, and John Mechie fights for extra yards, and Darnell finishes the job. So now it's 14-14 as the defense allows no points. Not the defense. We just got the ball back from the kickoff because that was the end of the half. And I'm not sure who number 2 is, but he makes a nice move. And Lenoris takes the ball himself again. He gets whacked out of bounds, but he kind of eats it. And I'm not sure who this is, but they cook Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner not looking too impressive here this game. Stephen eats up that screenplay all over it. And it looks like Stephen kind of read the play, but he was just a little bit too short. He is a 5'11 guy, not a 6'4 guy. And Anthony Richardson throws a dime within double coverage, and I don't know how he can throw that good of a ball, but he can't throw the 4th down wide open throw, but he ends up missing that. So it's 21-14 now. Caleb Johnson on a nice 1st down reception, and Caleb Johnson on another 1st down, very crucial on 4th down. And Cole Norton gets the ball, getting us within the 20-yard line, and another throw to him makes this 3rd and short, and John Mechie gets the reception to get the 1st down, and a huge dimer to Darnell, only to where he could get it, makes this score 21-21. And Michael Pittman has given us problems all game long, and so has Lenoris, because for his 3rd time, he's going to rush it in, making this 28-21. But Roman Wilson, with the time almost expiring, ends up getting the touchdown, but we missed the PAT, and we end up losing against the Colts. So not something that was too impressive for us. I mean, we end up losing to the person we just traded away. Not really what we expected, but now we have the Packers against the Patriots, and this is 2 big teams that we're really expecting to see who can win. We're really expecting 2 of these teams to be great. I mean, obviously the Patriots have had struggles, and so has the Packers, but they have a similar record, and honestly, similar outcomes could happen in the postseason for both of them. So we're really trying to see how they stack up against each other. And early on, we could really see that both teams have pretty bad quarterback struggles. And one of the quarterback struggles we were keen to notice. I mean, it's Trey Lance. We're not really expecting too much out of him. But Drake May, though, we were not really expecting Drake May to have this many problems, as Ben Becker gets this reception and breaks a lot of tackles getting down. But Kayshon Boutte gets I think it was an OPI, so he ends up kind of canceling that play out. But Westbrook takes the top off the defense, and a huge throw to Drake May, making this 7-6. I think they went for 2 and didn't get it. And so now we have Trey Lance kind of escaping the pocket here, trying to get a little bit of moves going, and so is Walters. And Trey Lance on the run again gets hit this time for, it looks like, a 3-yard loss. And Christian Watson gets the first down but tries to juke, almost losing more yards. Then they get another reception on 3rd down. And Darnell Mooney, the backup for Nick Harbor, couldn't get it done. And neither does Christian Watson, dropping a wide open touchdown. So that stalls their drive. And now the Packers, they went for it on 4th down, of course, because they're in the opposite's territory. But then so does the Patriots going on 4th down in their own red zone, and that causes them to get scored on. Now it's 14-6, and we have Drake May getting down to the 50-yard line with Morales catching a nice contested catch, and a wide open Ben Becker opens this score up, making this 12-14, and then the 2-point conversion ties it all up. Now we're gonna have Christian Watson, who's been such a dynamic player. He's just been such a problem maker as a receiver, and so is LaJarvis Best, being a very underrated personnel in some of these passes. And what an absolute dime of a throw to Christian Watson, making this 21-14. And Trayvon Henderson obviously saw that elite performance from the offense, so he wants to make something of this offensive drive, and so does Ben Becker and Drake May, as Drake May throws a laser to Booty, making this 21-21. And a safety blitz creates some extra pressure, and Trey Lance has to throw that out pretty quick. Nick Harbor on 4th and 5 makes a crucial move and getting all the way down to the 20-yard line after that screenplay. And honestly, Nick Harbor has been a very, very reliable person in this offense for the Packers, and you can see why. Now Trey Lance, obviously, he's very new to this playbook, and he tries to make something out of nothing. He gets intercepted at the goal line, pretty erratic throw if you ask me. And Drake May is doing a nice job with this drive, and he gets a touchdown, but it ends up being holding because Will Campbell, obviously he has one of the best defensive edges in the league going against him, so we don't blame him. They end up getting the score anyway, straight to the same. It was like pretty much the same play call. They go for it again. I'm surprised the Packers didn't try to stop that or be on that more. On 3rd and long, he gets batted down. On 4th and 8, though, they do get it, so now they have a fresh set of downs, 28-21. They eat up the screenplay. Nick Harbor was just immediately diddled after he caught that ball, nearly intercepted by Marcus Silvers, the rookie, but that dropped interception is going to cost them because LaJarvis Best goes up the middle of the scene, going in 28-28, and intercepted by Edgerrin Cooper. Looks like it's nearly sealing the game, essentially, with 24 seconds left in this game. I mean, honestly, you're not going to expect much, but one sack, gets them farther out from the field goal, and another sack, essentially making it impossible to kick a field goal. So now we're going to go into OT now. Those 2 sacks back-to-back were crucial for this defense. 4th and 2 in overtime. They end up getting it. Lloyd with a nice reception in the flat, getting down past midfield, and we're looking at 2nd and 10. The whole O-line gets bullied for a TFL, and what a dime from Trey Lance making this play. And now he's going to scramble on 2nd and 6, and a run from Mooney gets the first and more. So now we're 5 yards in, and Spillane couldn't get there, and Mooney makes a nice move to juke the corner out of the way. So now they did a great job with time management. There's probably 10 seconds left with 1 timeout, and honestly, I'm not really expecting much out of this offense. I mean, you're not really expecting to get big plays, but nearly caught for a touchdown, but Drake May overthrows it. Drake May just unloads the cannon, and it's caught. It's caught for a touchdown, which is insane. And according to the rules, apparently you still need time to kick that PAT, so they end up losing anyway, 35-34. What a win for Green Bay, even though they almost let them catch up. And what a game for the Patriots. The Patriots did a great job. I think Drake May just had to make sure to really capitalize on the mistakes that Green Bay made, and Green Bay just really capitalized on the mistakes that the Patriots made, and that's really the difference between the scoring in the second half. So that's going to be the end of the video. Stay tuned for episode 3, and hope you enjoyed.